Welcome back. We are excited to be joined by the Executive Director of the Golf Association of Michigan, Chris Whitten. Chris, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Of course, we're getting into the prime season here in our home state. What's the state of the game here in our great state?
I don't know if golf has been better anywhere, and especially in Michigan. I think Michigan golfers are a little bit on the spoiled side, if I'm being honest. And most of us don't know we live in the state with the most public golf courses of any state in the country, fourth most courses of any state, period. And when you talk about summer golf, in the Midwest, northern climate, it's arguable that this is the absolute best place to play golf in the world right now. So we've got it very, very good.
Yeah, I would argue that as well, and the affordability, which I think you touched on a little bit too. A lot of states don't have that. Tell me a little bit about what GAM does, kind of what you offer your members, and some of the services you guys provide.
Right. The Golf Association of Michigan's an allied golf association of the USGA. There are 58 state or regional associations just like us that conduct similar types of tournaments and provide similar core services for golfers. Mostly folks join because they want a handicap index through the USGA and the World Handicap System that helps to level the playing field a little bit when you play with buddies or in net competition. But really, the GAM at its start was a tournament organization, and we still are. We conduct 30 state amateur championships, starting with the men's and women's amateur championships to find the best players, all the way down to juniors, seniors, net competitions, scrambles, you name it.
Yeah,
And really, we're trying to make golf better and more accessible for everybody.
yeah, it's amazing. I've got to participate in some of your golf game days, which you guys do around the state, and you're on site for a major tournament right now.
Yeah, the 108th Michigan Women's Amateurs going on right now at Plum Hollow Country Club in Metro Detroit. I would say at this point in the tournament, the golf course might be winning. It's a really tough track set up for a championship, but these players are so good, and we're about to get to the match play portion of the tournament, which is really a lot of fun.
Chris, how do golf courses or clubs get selected for hosting a Michigan major like this?
Yeah, it's a two-way conversation for sure. From GAM's point of view, we want the best courses to host the best tournaments for the best players. It's about as simple as that. But from the club's point of view, they really need to be bought in with either the owners and management or the members of the private clubs to say, you know what, we want to support amateur golf. This is part of our mission to give back. And we want to see what some of the best players in the state can do on our golf course. Plum Hollow is about the most supportive GAM club out there, or one of them, and we're very lucky to have that relationship.
GAM also takes a huge time and investment in the youth of our game. Talk a little bit about the Youth on Course initiative and just overall growing the game in that age bracket.
Right. I mean, we all know that young players are the future customers, members, and golf leaders, and we want to get as many kids involved in the game as we can. Youth on Course started in California, and it's a golf course access initiative. So for $20, a junior between the ages of 6 and 18 can join Youth on Course Michigan at gam.org, and they get access to not only 100 courses in Michigan that offer $5 golf for those members, but there are over 1,000 courses nationally that they could travel to go play as well. So we're trying to take the affordability piece and make it front and center. All youth sports are expensive right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know with two kids myself, and golf has always been up there as one of the most expensive sports to play. So for $5 around, we hope we're getting more and more kids involved. And for the kids who are already involved, letting them play more than they would have anyways. We're really proud of that.
Do you remember what it was that got you into the game of golf?
Well, I grew up in a golf family. My dad worked at the golf course as a club pro. He was a very good player, and I probably resisted golf, if anything, for a long time. It took me a while to figure out I was not going to be in the NBA playing for the Pistons in the Bad Boys era. But once I put that together, I was hooked. And it's an individual game, but for me, when I knew about the high school golf team and playing with my friends and that team environment, that's what did it for me.
Now, Jackson has a rich history, successful across in a lot of these state tournaments. I'm curious, what's Jackson's perception from outside of our area? Like we think we can play in this town.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys have some of the best players in the history of the game. Steve Madalena is still going, adding to his record book. But that means if you've got great players, they grew up on great courses. The country club obviously is a prime destination for a golfer of any level. You can make it as hard as you want or as accessible and friendly as you want. The Grand is phenomenal, and I think what they're doing at Ella Sharp from an affordability entry level standpoint is phenomenal. So you guys are centrally located and easy to get to for people in almost any part of the state, even for a day trip. And Jackson is on the map for sure.
Chris, how rewarding is it working in amateur golf, especially right now with kind of all the nonsense in the professional ranks? It has to be kind of the purest form of the game right now.
Yeah, it's interesting because the number of rounds played and the number of people playing the game are at record high. I mean, golf has never been hotter than it is right now. But with some of that drama you mentioned, the television ratings for professional golf are down a little bit. I like to think people are just taking that time and they're going to play themselves.
Right.
So for us, our tournaments are at capacity or just about. Our membership is nearly double what it was 5 or 6 years ago. People are involved, they're enjoying the game, they're making it a priority. They're not just trying it, they're sticking with it, and they're playing more than they were before. So it's, while it might be a little bit harder to get a tee time and a little more crowded when you're out there, for the overall good of the game, this is a great moment in time right now.
I'll try not to get you in trouble, but I am going to ask you your favorite course in Michigan. And this is interesting because you could have so many different answers, and I don't think people will argue with you.
Right. I mean, before I came to the GAM, I coached the golf team at the University of Michigan for 13 years, and we were very spoiled to play every single day on an Alistair McKenzie golf course right on campus. I actually I grew to love that course more and more the longer I was there. And that's not true of all golf courses. Sometimes you get bored, but in my case, Alistair McKenzie is one of the all-time greats, and to have one right there locally was pretty special.
I'm sure your friends and family assume that you play golf all day, every day, but in the life of the executive director, how many rounds are you actually getting out this summer?
Yeah, maybe 10 to 15. My boys are getting into the game, and that gives me a reason to play with them and try to hold them off from beating me as long as I can. But honestly, I'm out there watching golf nearly every day, and it's just as rewarding. I mean, just being on the golf course, these beautiful places with people who are out and enjoying themselves, and they're thankful for our help too. It makes for a pretty good day at work.
So there's many ways to get involved, and folks can just go to your website and poke around, join, and find out when the game is coming close to you.
Yeah, gam.org. And keep in mind, with almost 92,000 members, only about 4,000 of those members play in our tournaments. So for the majority, they're in it for other services that
Right.
handicap index, access to GAM golf days, like you mentioned, and lots of communication about all the great things going on in our state.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on the morning show. We wish you the best and have a great tournament the rest of the week.
Hey, thanks very much. We'll see you on the golf course soon.
Sounds good. Take care. We will be right back. More of the show right after this break.